Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated.
We don't have a theme song yet, so you just get us singing.
Doing stuff and things, not really. No song.
Eventually, we'll get a band.
We will. A full band.
Well, howdy there, everyone. Welcome to Everyman's Guide to Nerdom. We are two 30 to 40-something-year-olds who pretty much talk about whatever we want. I'm Chris.
I'm Kyle.
You might know us online. Oh, go ahead.
You might know us online as Guyver, which is Chris. And I also go as K-Sig or Bronco in some circles. K-Sig is my Twitch handle.
So if you haven't gotten a chance to check out K-Sig's Twitch channel, you need to. It's always a blast. You want to do some shameless self-promotion real quick?
Yeah, I'll totally do some shameless self-promotion. I stream most evenings. It's twitch.tv/ksig. That's K_SIG. And most evenings you'll find me playing either some hunting simulator, doing some role play, or random shooters or survival games. Just whatever my fancy is grabbed by at the time.
So, as you have probably figured out, this is the inaugural episode for EGTN. So, you may be asking yourself, what is EGTN? Everyman's Guide to Nerdom. Kyle, what is this? What are we talking about? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Technically, we're going to be doing anything we want because this is our show. But the real focus of this is we wanted to do a show. We wanted to do a nerdy type podcast, but we wanted to do something a little different than all of the other nerd podcasts that are out there. Not saying anything bad on those. Those are all great. There's so many great podcasts that you can go out there and check. But what we wanted to do was explore the idea that everyone has a hobby or an interest or something that they're really excited about that other people may look on as being nerdy or geeky, that they don't understand what your particular hobby is. So we wanted to explore that idea, go out and look at things that are not just typically nerdy, like your comic books, video games, movies, but explore all these other hobbies and interests that people may have, and just show that there's a little bit of nerd in all of us. And hopefully through this we can help reach other people that may have those same interests, get people together, connect them, and realize that there's all these little sub communities out there that you may not know about, but that have similar interests or that have a interest that you never knew that you would have wanted. So
I love it when you do that explanation. Kyle really throws it all out there, and it reminds me like there's an American Dad episode where Roger says everyone's got a kink. Everyone's got a thing that they like, and it doesn't matter what it is. It could be for guys, could be for girls, could be for whatever. Mm-hmm. Like my wife had a suggestion for one episode, and that was to have it for planners. And I'm like, sure, I don't understand it, but you love it, so we could do something for planners. And I looked it up online, and it's a huge community. Like like they're rabid, almost. So why not? Kyle and I have been going back and forth for about a week and a half, 2 weeks now. We just started a little spreadsheet with ideas, and we've literally got, I'd say, 70 plus ideas for shows to do, and that's not
easy.
70 plus. Easy. And that's not counting the sub shows like Star Wars. We're both Star Wars fans. Yeah. And that's going to be like a 20-parter by itself. Star Trek, we'll do like a red shirt episode, and that'll be over really fast. If you get that, Star Trek. But there's just all sorts of stuff that we can talk about and we want to talk about. And it's just going to be us rambling on doing that. And so that's the whole point of the show.
Yeah, the planner community idea, that's just the perfect example of a hobby and an interest that has so many little intricate things, and gadgets and doodads and things that you can have and put your hands on that you can just get excited over, and that perfectly fits the definition of what we're looking to cover in this show.
So with that, let's go into the definition of what is a nerd. When you look up the definition of a nerd, it is a single-minded expert in a particular technical field. Kyle, what would you say is a nerd?
I think the only thing that kind of gets me out of that is a little bit out of that is the single-mindedness. I think a lot of nerds have multiple hobbies and things that they really enjoy, but I look at it as something that is unique or maybe outside of what most people would consider just mainstream interests, and even really the mainstream interests like sports and things that you feel like you're an expert. You may not be an expert, but you feel like you are, and that kind of makes you a nerd. I mean, nerds come in all shapes and sizes. There's video game nerds, anime nerds, there's woodworking nerds, and baseball nerds, and NASCAR nerds, and just all these different hobbies. And I think that, hopefully to expand on what is actually accepted as a nerd and is where we'll be going with this.
I completely agree with all that. So as you're talking, I can't help but we're going to give a little shout out to our buddy Andy Gapelt. I think he goes by Andrew's professional name now.
Mm-hmm.
He designed this logo for us. And if you look at the back, we kind of look like, if you've seen Princess Mononoke, Studio Ghibli, which that's one of the ones we're going to go into in a later episode. We kind of, to me, look like the forest spirits and like a cross between, what'd you say, The Simpsons?
The Simpsons and the forest spirits with you precariously perched atop my head. I won't say
with
the original term. Okay, yep, you're teabagging my head in the logo.
I know you're trying to be good, but you know what? We're throwing it out there.
I'm okay with that. So yeah, check out the logo. You will see Chris teabagging the top of my head. If nothing else, you'll get that out of this. So,
and then the kanji. What does the kanji mean?
So the kanji stands for enthusiast or nerd. It actually, translates to otaku, which is big in the just the nerd community in general. I actually read that it has at one time had a negative connotation to it due to some events that happened like late 80s, I think it was, but it's become accepted as more mainstream of that's a international symbol for nerddom now, and so I love that that's up there, and people can ask about that. I actually had somebody ask me about it today, and like, you make sure that it is what you think that's what it is, because you don't want to have something like I love sandalwood or random above your head. So like a bad kanji tattoo, but it checks out.
But I do love sandalwood.
And who doesn't love sandalwood? You smell of patchouli and sandalwood, Chris. It's a pleasant aroma.
No. So, again, the whole point of this show isn't to make anyone feel bad. It isn't to point out you're a nerd, a nerd.
But it is to point out you're a nerd.
It is, well, yes, but not in a negative connotation.
No.
This kind of celebrate, own it. And that's what we're going to talk about this episode, because so literally for 2 weeks, Kyle and I went back and forth. What are we going to have the first episode about? What is the first? It's got to be really good, so people are going to want to come back and listen. What are we going to, we just have so many topics. I don't want to blow all our really good topics right at the beginning and then, kind of get mediocre at the end.
Yeah. We don't want to do all the good stuff at the beginning when nobody's listening, and then people start listening, and then we're down to nothing.
So Kyle actually had the brilliant idea of today's title, which is The Struggles of the Aging Nerd.
Brilliant, very generous. But.
Well, what explain on that, please, sir?
Okay, so the struggles, we did have trouble coming up with this idea. Like, like Chris said, the struggles of aging nerds. He said that we're in our 30 somethings or 40 somethings. One of us may be more into the 40 somethings than the other. I'm not going to say who it is, but it's not me. And just the expense, and not just monetary. We'll get into that, but the time and life expense of keeping up with your hobby or whatever your nerdom is. It gets harder as you get older, and the time to keep up with things, all the new stuff that comes out. There's just all this pressure and this fear of missing out on the next cool nerdy thing that you really want to see, and it's a lot of nerd pressure. There's a lot of you kind of feel that pressure of wanting to keep up. It's almost a keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing, and so we'll kind of go over that a little bit. Also along with the monetary expense and a little bit of the history of how we got to where we are and our different levels of expertise in different things. I'll put it out there right now. I don't consider myself an expert in any of it, but I've embraced as much as I can, and so that's another one of those struggles with aging nerd is finding all these new interests that you may have not thought that you had, or that you had in the past, and you're wanting to revisit, and trying to keep up with that, and still trying to go through your day-to-day life. You young nerds have it easy with all your internets.
You youngin'!
Yeah.
Get off my transformers!
Rattle my lightsaber. Get off my lawn!
Kyle's out. He is frequently found out on his lawn in his boxers, throwing his lightsaber up in the air.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the prop.
That's not an ism either.
That's not an ism. There's no ism there. It's just
there's no ism. It's the truth. So, like I was saying, there's just
away.
Damn neighborhood kids.
Street youth.
The older we get, exactly like I was saying, just the more cool shit's out there, and you just can't keep up. I'll give you an example. So we never finished Game of Thrones all the way through. We got HBO back when it was about 4th season. And so we watched from 4th season on. But then when we finally got seasons 1, 2, 3, we started watching episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, and then all of a sudden American Gods was out. So we started watching that. And then we still have got to finish Lock and Key. We've got to finish this season of The Boys. I think we've got like 3 episodes left. We've got to finish Umbrella Academy season 1 so we can start season 2. And the problem is, it's just so much good shit out there. Then I start it and I just can't finish it. And then you start to go back to it. Mm-hmm. And you're like, what happened? I don't remember what happened. And you got to start the whole cycle all over again.
And the older we get, the harder that's going to be, because just remembering, what I'm supposed to get from the grocery store, let alone what happened in season 2 of Attack on Titan, there's no way in hell. Like, if, I'm in the same boat. If I start something and I don't finish it, and then I want to go back and watch it, or there's a sequel or something that came out and I didn't finish the first part, or I didn't finish the first season, I won't remember. If more than a month has passed by, then I'll have to go back and rewatch it all over again. And I have that issue of trying to finish a show too, just like what Chris has talked about. I call my particular condition anime interruptus, where I'll get, even if it's just a 1 season run of a show or something, I'm just notorious for getting 3/4 of the way through, or just a couple of episodes left, and just get squirreled and distracted by something, and then I won't finish it, and then I'll go back like, oh man, I still need to finish Death Note, and I still need to finish Tokyo Ghoul, and I need to finish this book or finish this movie, and it's hard. And then I have to go back and start it all over again.
So you've got anime. What did you call it? Animus interruptus?
Anime interruptus.
Mm-hmm. Anime interruptus. I've got a very sexy disease. You know what it's called?
Anime dysfunction?
No.
Oh, that's the opposite of it. Oh,
I mean, I am getting older.
It's what Zach Brannigan had.
Yes, it is. Kip, what is it?
It's half of it.
Yeah.
Sexlexia. I had half of it. Or I thought the sexlexia was half of it. Whatever. I butchered that one. I want to drink some more of my beer. I'll never figure it out.
Some more. Yay, Bobby!
There's the prime example of me forgetting shit. That's going to happen a lot. You guys just strap in because it's
have
coming.
another one, Your Honor. I think you will. So, one of the things that I have problems with now too is, we'll give an example. Is the current lingo of things. I'll give you an example. Is I just rebuilt a PC. I had my buddy help me because I haven't built one in 10 years. When I say he helped me, he showed me which parts would be perfect for what I'm looking at. You know, full disclosure. But
you knew where to put it on your own. You didn't have to have help with that.
Well, I did.
Oh.
I will tell you, I did because like with the new hard drives, I'm like, how does this work? What do you do with it? I don't play with hardware anymore. I'm a desk jockey now. I'm a software and desk jockey. And I mean, it's sad. I fully admit this, but I'm getting back into it. Just forgot about how much fun this is. So we rebuilt it all. And the whole thing, I give credit to Mr. Kyle over there because he, with his Twitch stream, I just had a blast watching him and literally going in and harassing him.
A lot.
But that's the point. But it just had a blast and it made me want to do it. And I just thought, where was this shit when I was 20?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
we'd have been on top of the world now.
We would have. I still remember having LAN parties when we were, 17, lugging over a big 17-inch CRT monitor that was bigger than I was. We had to set up it would take 3 hours to set everything up. And then we'd play for like 4 hours. Then it'd be like 4 a.m.
We really should have been a lot stronger back then, toting all that shit around.
You would think so, but you'd think so, but no, I got stuffed in too many lockers. So the lingo is what I'm trying to catch back up with. Like, I've got a good friend of mine, Steven. He and Lydia, I consider her a friend too. I've never met her in real life. I just know her through their podcast, The Stevia Show, which is a great podcast, by the way. If you're looking for a good one, just go give them a shot. It's a lot of fun to listen to. But, you know, they'll stream games. They'll do all sorts of fun stuff. And they were playing Among Us. And I was watching it, and then they kept going, man, that's sus, man. That's sus. I'm like, is sussafras? What? Sus what? What are you talking about? And then I had to have my 9-year-old come in and tell me, no, they're saying suspect, Dad. And I'm like, oh. And, you know, and then I had to play it. Their crowd is a lot younger than we are. And so I had to play it off. I'm like, I knew what that was.
Not that much younger. Okay, maybe a little bit.
Some are. Yeah. No, they don't have any gray in their hair. I'll put it that way yet.
The only hair I have is gray now. Thanks for.
You're welcome. I think I've got like 3. They're not really gray. Like,
I'm slowly turning into a wizard in school.
Wizard!
Not even a cool one either. I probably have really crappy magical powers.
Maybe that's what you should do, is just go walk around your house dressed like a wizard. Like, go to the mailbox, just get the mail.
More of a potion maker. I just get enough of these little potions in me, then I just want to go to sleep.
Speaking about your potion, what are you drinking tonight?
We have an assortment because I went through what was left in my fridge. Currently, looks like a Black Butte Porter from Deschutes. I guess that's how you would say that. You say that like Deschutes?
Yeah, so I would say Deschutes.
It's pretty good. I hope it doesn't run through me and give me Deschutes later. But and then I have one of my favorites, Left Hand Brewing Company Milk Stout. So I like the dark beer. Yeah, I finished on my whiskey last night, so now we're on to beer.
So you have to go get some more whiskey then. So that's going to be another episode is beer. We're going to have another episode on just like spirits, you know. That's what the show's about. It's literally anything. Like what I'm excited about is the barbecue episode because I love to barbecue.
I'm excited about the, the spirits because we put in paranormal investigation on the list. So spirits and spirits. We could probably combine those two. That'd be a catchy title.
Oh, that would scare the shit out of me.
Like drunk ghosts or just drunk looking for ghosts?
Drunk ghosts going around and go, I got a tattoo. You want to see through it?
Drunk ghosts probably wouldn't be that scary. Depends if they're like a happy drunk and just like, boo.
Yeah.
You hear them in the back, boo. Oh, Casper had too much.
I tell you all about politics. Yeah.
Yeah, Spirits and Spirits. The cosplay episode, I'm looking forward to that.
Yep. We got a good... Kyle's got a good friend. I just met him. He's awesome, though. Goes by the name of Props. Mm-hmm. You want to tell him about Props?
Yep. Blasted Props. He's also on Twitch, and he's a prop maker, cosplay enthusiast. I know he's made a lot of miniatures for tabletops and board games, which is another topic we'll cover down the road. But he makes a lot of stuff, for himself, and he makes some of the coolest shit you'll ever see. His man cave, which is another topic we'll cover later, but is just full of stuff that he's made. There's swords and weapons and guns and
full set of Warhammer 40K armor.
Mm-hmm. That full set of Warhammer armor and Star Wars helmets and one-off helmets that he's made and customized for his own. So he's got some really cool stuff. And I got some other friends that are deeper into cosplay that hit at a lot of Comic-Cons, and I'm hoping we'll be able to get her on. She does a lot of commissions for other people, so she'll make cosplay outfits and props for them as well. And she's an artist and a streamer, and so she'll be hopefully on for a couple of different episodes. And we just have this wide, the more we talk and we kind of get to talking to people we know and throwing this idea of what we're wanting to do with this show. We're finding out all these different little hobbies and things that people had. Like, that'd be perfect to have on. Like, this is what we're wanting to do. And so far, everybody's been really, really receptive. So we hope to have a wide breadth of interests and hobbies on here. And I'm super excited about it.
Didn't you say you had a buddy that was a tattoo artist?
We do. We have one that's a tattoo artist. You know him as Harry. And So he'll be on. We have tattoo artists and musical artists and fellow podcasters, fellow streamers. I would hopefully would like to find some maybe some comic book artists to get on, or writers and different things. So the more we throw this out there, the more interest we have of people that just want to be on this show and get their not really their message, just to talk about their passion. And because the circles, even though we're really connected, seem kind of small sometimes, and so getting this out to more people is hopefully going to be really great.
Well, and speaking of people who we want to have on, so one of the main people that I want to have on is that I'm going to petition is Reb Brown. Reb Brown was in, I want to say it's like 1984's Captain America.
Around there, yeah.
Around there, give or take. But he was also in one of Kyle and I's favorite movies that was riffed by Mystery Science Theater, which, by the way, that's a whole thing that we're doing too. And riff tracks. Kyle, what was that movie?
Space Mutiny.
Space Mutiny with Dr. What do they call her? Doctor Pantyhose.
Doctor Lady.
Itchy.
Doctor, or was it Lady? Doctor Lady.
And
one of the most quotable movies ever. Oh my god.
It really is. Bulk slam chest.
Just the bad guy in it being all greasy. I don't even remember. Calgon.
No, Calgon, take me away.
Oh, Calgon, we need more of you. I got my dad's enforcer for the weekend. I could quote that movie all night long.
And we just may. But I want to get Reb Brown on here. He's one of the ones that I want to get. And also Bill Allen from the movie Rad, which is one of my all-time favorite movies, which I own 2 copies of 4K on now and every digital platform you can. Now, Kyle, have you seen Rad yet?
Oh, you're going to throw that back in my face, aren't you? I haven't watched it yet. You put a whole list of things on me. I haven't been able to get all the way through them yet. I've got so much homework for this show. You guys have absolutely no idea how much homework Chris is giving me for this show, because
it's so
that
fun.
whole jack of all trades things is really showing. We're a little bit of everything, but not a whole lot of everything. And so Chris and some of our mutual friends will be talking about different comics, different animes, or movies and things like, I haven't seen that, and then you just get. I get the third grade. Oh my God, you got to watch it. So I was like, what do I need to watch this week, Chris? So I can get caught up. Like, I got my stuff I watch, but I want to be like the cool kids too. And so he gives me homework about every week now. We're playing catch up.
So, since we're on the topic of people, we want guests on the show, I am going to kind of bring down the show a little bit, just because I feel we need to, even though it's our first episode. So, got a really good buddy of mine who we lost this week. And well, I guess it was last week. It was on Friday, I want to say. Brad Venable. I've known Brad since high school, when I created this character named Asweepe. And he would go looking for Asweepe and speech and debate, and we just remained friends throughout college and stuff. And then Brad ended up making it really big. I consider it big in the voice acting world. He was very well respected. I think he was Griff in the latest Devil May Cry. He was in Attack on Titan. He was on, I think he did some characters on My Hero. He was on Fate Stay Night. He was on just a whole mess load of stuff. Fairy Tale. He was Janice's first skin on Smite. But we lost Brad this last week, and it really hit you in the feels, because I had just talked to Brad the week before about being on the show, and we had planned a bunch of episodes with him on it. How did you meet Brad?
I met Brad while I was in college, and we didn't run in the same circles, but once a week, almost without fail, we would run into each other at karaoke. Thursday night was karaoke night at one of the local bars in town, and Brad would kill it in karaoke. Just an amazing voice, and I just always remembered him, from karaoke. After I got out of college and stuff, I noticed that, okay, well, he's doing voiceover work. That's really cool. And so I started, following his career a little bit. And even though that we didn't run in the same circles, when I reached back out to him, years after college, I just had some questions about some D&D stuff and different voice acting things, and just to pick his brain a little bit. And I knew he was busy, because his list of work, if you go out and look at what he did on IMDb, is just insane how much stuff he did. But he always took time to respond, and usually within the same day. And there was no, well, we didn't know each other that well, or we didn't hang out. It was just like, instant to respond with a friendly tone, and always he was just eager to help. And I was super excited when Chris mentioned, like, okay, we're gonna get we'll get Brad on and do a few episodes and just the things that he knows that would be just really beneficial to throw in and get out there. And I was super excited because my daughter's big into My Hero Academia now, and when I saw that was on his resume, that he had done some additional voices on there, and I told her, she just thought that was the coolest thing ever, that her old man knew a guy that does a voice on her favorite show. And so I was excited to get him on there and just at least tell him that. I was really wanting to tell him, about the excitement for my daughter on that, and getting to know him now as we're a little bit older and mature was something I was really looking forward to. And I didn't know him as well as Chris did. Chris's history goes way farther back than mine, but it still hits you, that somebody that's in a field that I personally looked up to and admired, for him going after something that he just loved doing. You could tell he loved doing what he was doing, and you could tell the people in the industry absolutely adored this man. That was so admirable to me, to see somebody chase their dream, become successful, and be happy in life doing something that they absolutely loved. And so I was hit pretty hard when Chris called me and told me. And I hope we can do his memory a little bit of justice to carry on some of his nerddom, because Brad was a big nerd.
He was.
There was no way around that at all. And so that's what got me pretty hard as well.
Well, and he was one of my favorite characters too in One Piece, was Scratchman of Pooh. So, Brad, we're gonna miss you, man.
Yeah.
Funny story. Brad told me, I was talking to him, and he goes, you have got to meet my friend. You guys are so similar. And I'm like, really? And I've never met the guy in real life, but we've talked through Facebook and Messenger and stuff. Get this. His name is Chris Sharps.
Mm-hmm. Plural.
Chris Sharps, plural. He works in IT. He does voiceover work, loves anime, loves video games. The only difference is he can grow like facial hair. This, for those of you who are going to watch this video, this is like a month. Don't get me wrong. It's just because I got lazy and I just look dirty. This isn't like
2
real
weeks.
hair. I hate you. Like literally, I found some grass clippings on the ground and just kind of glued them on.
So this Chris looks like me and you had a love child, basically.
That's basically what it is.
Do we want him on a video episode now that we got that mental image in everybody? I'm
no.
sure he's a lovely looking man. If he looks like us put together.
He is. He's British and he's actually really good looking. Except we call him the evil twin because he usually has a goatee.
Oh, he's Bizarro Chris.
It's Bizarro Chris. Just depending how you look on it, but he's great. And I hope to have him on at one point too. So,
or are you Bizarro Chris?
I don't know. It depends who's older, I guess. Well, I guess Bizarro was same time as Superman. That's another episode.
That's another thing that we're going to get
That's
into.
a whole nother episode. Now that I brought the whole show down, let's bring it back up and complain about how old we are. So the next point that I had was the current way games are run. Like, it's completely different between games way back when and games now. Like, Kyle, do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah. Something that we kind of mulled this over quite a bit, or it's just maybe the culture of the world, like things that you could possibly get away with in games, in the 90s and stuff would be so hard to get away with now. I think you used the example of Postal and like Redneck Rampage, and these games were cheesy, they were corny. Some of that stuff I think you couldn't do now, and that's not like trying to get on some PC high horse or anything like that. It's just, it's different times. And, the games and stuff we play now, they're really not different if you really think about it. I mean, Fortnite is just the evolution of Doom multiplayer with forts and cartoon guns and, bright cartoony characters. It's the same concept. I want to win, I'm going to shoot that asshole over there. Same concept. It's just different, but just the evolution of games and the mentality and things around them is something that we're going to want to explore. Particularly, women in gaming. That's something that we're going to hit on soon.
Not hit on. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, no.
That's something that Kyle and I are both passionate about, is women in gaming. I've got 2 daughters, and I want to show them that you can do well. You can be amazing in gaming. Like I'll admit it. Half the girls I know could just demolish me in gaming. Like Lydia, who I was talking about from the Stevia show. Mm-hmm. She's amazing at Warzone and what is it? That one you wanted to play? Escape from Tarkov.
Escape from Tarkov.
She is amazing at that game. Like, she literally, I don't even see her aiming. She just like bam, bam,
hacks,
just killing people.
Calling hacks.
Hacks. But no, she's amazing. So we want to explore that subject.
Yeah, I mean, you got 2 girls that are coming up. I got one daughter that's just a huge gaming nerd with Minecraft and the Isle and different games that she's playing. I mean, she has her own rig set up in her room, and the same thing. I want to show her, like, if this is something that you want to pursue, and you want to be serious about it, let your old man help you. That's hopefully a bonding thing for us.
Well, and here's another thing with the aging nerd. Did you ever think we would say, "Yeah, we've got kids. I'm lucky any girl let me touch her"?
No, I really did not think that you would be able to say that you had kids.
No, thank you. Wait a minute. No. I said we, the royal we. We're not friends.
Oh, okay.
It's not a mouse in my pocket. No, we, dude.
No. I really didn't think I would be raising miniature versions of myself. I'm so happy
He's
with how
not
they turned
wrong,
out
though.
so far. Yeah.
So far.
So far so good. We haven't hit the teenage years yet, but it's coming. So
I've got lots of years to screw that up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I've accepted the fact that I will, and I'm with it.
I'm not, because when my girls call me gamer dad. That's what she called me with all her friends before the damn COVID. Back when she could hang out with friends, she called me the gamer dad, and it's like, yeah, because I'm the cool dad, right? And she's like, no, and she'd walk off, and I'm like, well, I mean, she's not wrong.
Yeah, wait till they get about 12. They don't even call you gamer dad anymore. They'll just call you.
Oh, good, something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Thank you.
That pre-teenage sigh. That's going to be your new name. Just prepping you for it, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Next subject. What was acceptable back in the 80s and 90s is not acceptable now. What I'm talking about is pretty much anything.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff that we liked back then, like Transformers. I love using this one. Transformers, the movie, 1986. The death of Optimus Prime.
Spoiler
Characters
alert.
died. No, what? Who? Optimus Prime. Wasn't he the one that fought Cobra Commander and had the white thing on? It wasn't. I'm just confusing you.
They throw me out. I didn't do no homework. I know that's not right.
No, and there was a bunch of characters that actually died in Transformers the movie. There was characters that died in G.I. Joe.
Mm-hmm. There's characters that almost died and they deleted the scene.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And then you have, like, today, you don't see characters dying. They go away. They might go to, like, some alternate universe.
They go off to the farm somewhere.
They go off to the farm. They go the way of Old Yeller. But
what happened to Tony Stark? Oh, he's visiting that farm. He's visiting Grandma and Grandpa at the farm.
What happened? I don't know. Someone was snapping.
Mm-hmm.
But just all that stuff back then was more acceptable. There was a more un-PC time.
Yeah.
I mean, what's some of the examples you can think of? What was more acceptable in the 80s and 90s?
Well, I mean, we were covering over the death thing. And even then, they kind of hit on maybe we went too far in that whole G.I. Joe animated movie scenario is like a great example of it, because like Duke died. He was supposed to die. And they took that as like, well, this may be too heavy, but they still put his ass in a coma. Like that's a little bit better, I guess. That the main hero here, he's not dead, but we're gonna soap opera his ass and put him in a coma for the
He's just a vegetable.
Yeah, going through the 80s and into the 90s. You look at some of a majority of it was Nicktoons. Some of the stuff that was on Rocko's Modern Life and Ren and Stimpy, like the cartoons I watched when I was a kid, I didn't think anything of it.
Great
apparently I
examples.
absorbed a lot of the subliminal messages, and it's showing itself now. But there were some, episodes from like Rocko's Modern Life that the innuendo and the stuff that got slipped in there, that you couldn't do that. You could do it in an animated series now. You could not do it or they wouldn't see it being done in an animated series played during the prime time that kids are going to be watching. I mean, Rocko worked at a damn sex hotline as a phone jockey, and
and Mrs. Bighead was always trying to get him over to seduce him. Oh, Rocco, come here and rub stuff all over my warts.
I'm going to say this every time you do that. I love your Mrs. Big Head.
I
don't
love
care.
that show.
I don't care how many times you do it. I absolutely love it.
I thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
But it
You're
was just
welcome.
great. And like, you're absolutely right. Like some of the stuff they would have to do today would be like Adult Swim stuff.
Yeah.
Like as late as possible. Like, Ren and Stimpy don't whiz on the electric fence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I still find that funny. Or even Beavis and Butthead. I'll give you another example. Animaniacs, the original Animaniacs. I have all the old ones, and the more I watch them now, the more I notice they snuck in adult humor in this.
Like when Dot was looking for fingerprints.
So I had to readjust my headphone. Which one was that?
They were on a cruise ship, and she didn't hear correctly. And like, Dot, dust for Prince. And she pulls Prince, the singer, out of like a locker or something. So she's holding, Mr. Purple Rain himself right there. And they're like, no, fingerprints. And she's like, I don't think so.
I'm going to have to go find that one now.
It's so good.
The big toe when they go, can I call you Dadu?
So much stuff that couldn't be done. It's great. Our parents caught it.
Yeah.
If they
no, my parents didn't. They didn't watch it. My parents didn't watch it with us. Like Freakazoid. I remember watching it with my wife, and that's where he's down in the sewer, and he's talking about, it smells like poo gas. And all of a sudden, poo gas became a thing in my house now. That's all we'd talk about for like a month.
The poo gas.
Poo gas.
Poo gas.
I got the poo gas. So, I mean, again, Kyle's absolutely right. Like, I just don't think that stuff would pass muster in prime time at this point.
No, not in, that prime 3 to 5 p.m. slot for kids.
Not at all.
There's probably some stuff getting snuck in. I mean, and they're not really primetime cartoons, but some of the stuff I watch with my kids now, like Adventure Time and
which is a great show.
Adventure Time is great. That's another one I haven't finished yet.
And Steven Universe is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. So many of those shows that I like, they're borderline. They're just so close to being Rick and Morty, like they're just right there, butting up against the wall of being that humor. But there's stuff that slipped in there. And
give an example.
Oh God! Now you're gonna throw me on the spot.
I am gonna throw you on the spot.
And
you can either do Steven Universe or, in Steven Universe and Adventures Time both have LG. What is it? LGB. Hold on. Why don't I know this? I'm putting myself on the spot. LGBTQ characters on there.
Yeah.
Which you wouldn't have seen that in the 90s.
No. So there's some flip there.
Yeah.
You would have had things alluded to.
100%, and they would have made fun of it in the 80s or 90s.
Right.
But not this. They're portraying serious characters, which, thank God, that's actually a really good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
you're getting a lot more diversity in cartoons and stuff, and some parents they're a little uncomfortable with it. Kids, they're fine. That's your kids are going to be okay, because it's a representation of what the world is like out there, and teaching them just accept somebody for them. Like the person, and so in that aspect of it, I'm happy about that.
I am too. It's about time. Mm-hmm. So next up, we have lost my spot. Why being a nerd is way more expensive now. I think this was your baby, so I'll let you start.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that a little bit at the beginning of the episode. So
now we're going to bitch about it.
We're going to, I'm so too damn high. Yeah, it's just the cost of doing things, if whatever your interest is, it's become more mainstream to be nerdy about things now, and companies are capitalizing on that. As they should. They're a company. They're going to make money. There's a good chance to make money. We've got these people that have grown up, and they're going to cash in on that nostalgia. There's these things that they just want to collect and they have to collect, and that's where you're getting your reboots and your remakes and all this stuff because it's going to make some money. Of course, we think it's cool as a consumer, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you like it, you like it. But I had to stave off on collecting on my part a lot because I was, I fell into the stereotypical Funko Pop collections of things, and once I started collecting those, and I saw something like, ooh, I really want this, or I really want this, and they start getting more expensive as they get more rare, and that's just on the collectible side. If you want, we're both computer nerds. We both PC game, and that's not cheap at all.
No. My wife will tell you.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm good with what I got going. But the keeping up with the Joneses is a real thing when you get into, even if you're not computer gaming, if you're just, using your computer for your everyday work, there's a keeping up with the Joneses factor in there where you want, the best new graphics card and the best new processor, and you're like, oh, I'm only getting 120 frames and I should be getting 144 frames. Something's wrong. I gotta drop another $400 to make this work right. There's so much, and as we get older, in theory, older nerds are supposed to have more disposable income. In theory, air quotes for you guys that are listening instead of watching. And so there's money to be made out there, and it doesn't get any cheaper as we get older, and there's the monetary
more expensive.
expense, the time expense, because now we're older and we have grown-up lives supposedly, and kids and jobs and things, and trying to find the time to keep up with your hobbies and your interests and stuff. It gets harder, and it's frustrating because you want to do the things that you enjoy, but you have your responsibilities that you have to take care of first.
Absolutely. Prime example is, Transformers used to be just all metal and really awesome, and I couldn't tell you how much they cost. I'm sure they weren't cheap, but nowadays I just, I spent $80 on a new Skylynx from the new set because it's awesome, number one, but it's just super expensive to keep up. Like, I've got all the Star Wars Rebels crew now, and from Star Wars The Black Series, and that wasn't cheap. I think way back when it might have been a little bit easier to be. It's never been easy to be a nerd. Let me put it that way. But I think it was a little bit easier on your pocketbook because back then you might have, like one hobby, like 70s when D&D was started. You might be a D&D nerd, or 80s, you'd be into the electronics. You start, doing electronics, or, role playing, or just something. You'd be more focused. Like in Japan, it's so expensive to have hobbies over there. Most people only have one hobby just because it takes literally all their disposable income. So I think you're absolutely right on all that. And then, which leads us to a great transition to our new part about how nerds became the in culture. Because we've never been the in culture. We've always been the outsiders. Right. We've been the people that, you make fun of, or you have to hide what you like and who you are, just so you don't get the shit beat out of you or get locked in a locker. Which, again, okay, I'll tell this story because I've mentioned it twice now. I can still show you that locker is still there. During gym class where they locked me into one of the lockers, and I remember there was like a quarter in there, so I started. It was the little grates on the locker, so I started rubbing the quarter up and down on the locker like a little tin cup. But I was in there the entire gym class.
Swing low.
I got stuffed into a trash can that year too. I could tell you I was the smallest, one of the smallest kids there in 8th grade. All because I was quote unquote a nerd, because I liked to dress a certain way. I liked to wear colored shirts. I liked, I liked video games. I liked computer stuff. I was really into Transformers. I like Star Wars. it was tough. It was tough growing up in some parts.
That's the thing now. I mean, you're talking about like dressing a certain way and stuff. You know, back when we were in high school or even up through junior high and things like. And this is mid to late '90s. You wouldn't hardly ever see anyone in the 14 to 18-year-old age group. Like, you wouldn't wear a Spider-Man shirt to school.
No,
because you would get the shit kicked out of you.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't wear certain things, but now you have that's just everyday attire for anybody, and it's become more accepted and
it's cool.
It's cool now. It's the cool thing to do, and I'm not going to be one of those guys that you see it a lot in like I'm a big heavy metal guy. I love heavy metal, and you'll see celebrities in particular get called out for wearing a band shirt, and somebody's like, well, name 3 songs from that band. I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm not gonna be that guy if I see someone wearing an Iron Man shirt and ask them to quote something from a random comic book issue from the 80s. That I wouldn't be that guy, but there are people like that, and I feel like that turns people away from things. They may have bought the shirt because they just thought it looked cool, but that could be the gateway into when somebody comes up to them and like, oh, you have this Iron Man shirt on, did you know about this and this, and that may spark something in their brain like, that sounds really cool, I want to dive into that, I want to find those old comic issues, or I want to watch all the Avengers movies now, or I want to dive into the lore a little bit more, and that's something that's changed drastically, probably I would say within the last 10 years at the most. And I think that you could probably attribute that a lot to the Avengers movies kicking that off.
Mm-hmm. And the MCU started with Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Started with Iron Man.
That's when it became okay, and you're going to see people from my 5-year-old son all the way up to 60, 70 years old wearing, Captain America shirts with the shields on them. It's okay now, and I'm good with that.
And I will say, I've got a buddy that was in the ground floor with the MCU, getting it going, and I will give him a lot of credit for getting this ball rolling, because for you and I, it's like, oh, it's awesome. We get to see some of the people we read about as kids on the big screen.
Yeah.
And it's this, like you said, this gateway for everyone else who never read that comic or saw the animated TV show in the 90s, saying, you know what, this is actually pretty cool. I like this stuff. I'm going to embrace this inner nerd. I like superheroes. Why not? It's just really cool to see someone get into something that you're into, then you can actually talk about it. Because, you may look at some guy you work with who's just, you may be the complete opposite body type as them. He may be tall, good looking, and well muscled. You may be short, dumpy, and mean.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the leading into that, but go ahead. Yeah.
Well, we're getting there,
Over here.
But,
crap! Over there. Over here.
But that may be the gateway. Someone who you thought, that guy's just a dick, just because the way he looks, because he was, he's the jock. He's the guy who wouldn't even talk to you. But then you find that common ground. Mm-hmm. And you just start talking. You might end up being good friends with them. Just, it's one of those, just give that person a shot. Don't judge people by the way they look. That's what we've been asking for years. And I'm not saying, I don't want you all thinking that, I was beat up a ton, or, I was always stuffed in lockers and stuff. I'd like to think during college, I really broke out, and, I had a lot of friends. I would like to say I was cool. At least that's what I tell my kids. Even if I wasn't, that's what I tell them.
I'll tell them.
But I appreciate it. Thank you. Mm-hmm. You're a beautiful man.
Wow.
But it's okay. It's okay to be you. You don't have to change who you are to make people happy. And that's what part of, I think, being an older nerd is just accepting it. Just not giving a shit anymore what people think. If you like it, you like it.
You combine the love for things that are different to the old manness of not giving a shit, and you have created a perfect geeky nerdy monster, which I strive to be.
Great thing.
Mhm.
Which is a great thing to have. I mean, I can think of worse fates.
Yeah,
I really can.
name one.
And
I'm not going to do that.
wait, a worse
I'm
fate?
on the spot.
Okay. I'll tell you one right off the bat. Being unhappy at your job, being unhappy with your life, and not enjoying life to the fullest. I think this pandemic has taught us you have to cherish every moment you have. You cherish your friends, you cherish your family. Even if you don't have either of those, cherish what you got. And I think take care of what you have. I think that's what part of being a nerd is too. Quote unquote a nerd is just enjoying what you have.
Yep. I will 100% agree with that. That's a great takeaway from everything we have, and I'm starting to embrace that a little bit more myself, and hopefully we can encourage other people to do that. It's okay to like what you like. Nobody should tell you what you can like and you can't like. It's what you like. If they don't like it, whatever. There's yeah.
I think there was something else there. But
there was something else there, and I'm trying to keep it reined in. A few more of these shits in me, and I might have been able to get it out. But
if we haven't mentioned it, we're not a safe for work podcast. We're we're not that bad, but
we'll
we're not
fairly reined in to an extent. But no, we're going to be more. As we go on, we're going to be more earbud friendly than desktop speaker friendly.
Exactly. Well, and we may do 1 or 2 episodes that are kid friendly. If we talk about, like, my youngest loves Blippy. She calls him Flippy.
Oh, God.
And she's like, Daddy. Too. Yeah, she goes, Daddy, can we go to Flippy World? I want to go to Flippy World. I'm like, sure, honey. Maybe we'll talk that. I mean, that's a thing, though. That's a huge thing. The Wiggles were a thing. And like maybe those could be the family friendly ones. Except to be like, I fucking hate Flippy.
That son of a bitch with his freaking propeller hat.
And it's
you've watched way more than I have. I just get the hell out of there.
I watched a ton of Blippy. I have watched a lot of Blippy.
Nah, I'm more like I'll flip it on there and like, hey, look, it's Blippy, and then I'll run out of the room really quick. Like I got something else to do because I can't put myself through this shit.
What's hard when they're so cute and I call it the little squatty phase when they just look like they're squatty, like 3, 4, and they're like, "Please stay with me, Daddy," and like, I can't move. Yes,
fine.
And then I'm trying to gnaw my arm off like a fox in a trap, trying to get away, but it's my undoing.
Yeah, mine have or my youngest has really started to figure out how to get me to like, man, I'll try to suffer through some of the shows. But if he really wants to like get after the stuff that I'm interested in, he knows he'll get my attention. He'll be like, "Hey, Dada, let's play Mario Kart." Oh, you little son of a bitch! It's on.
Doing it right.
And of course, he's like, "I never win." Like, you're not going to either because this is my house.
You better eat that up while you can while you're still winning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my 12-year-old finally beat me in Mario Kart, and she talked shit for 2 weeks, so I could get all that I can in on the little guy.
Let's talk about that's a good transition. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about being the older nerd with kids.
Yeah.
What drives me nuts right now with my 9-year-old, I'll introduce her to stuff, and when I introduce her to stuff because I think it's cool, it's automatically not cool. I mean, I know this is a similar thing for everyone anywhere. But I think it grates at me a little bit more because I'm trying to get her into stuff. Like I introduced her to Glee, and because we like musicals around here, they're fun, and she watched it probably for about 9 months straight, just nonstop, every episode. But then she got to the point where she wouldn't listen to any of the songs. She would forward on her iPad through all the songs or on the TV, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" Just. I'm not really into the songs anymore. I'm like, that's the whole point of Glee.
That's what the show is. Like, I don't even watch Glee, and I know that. So.
Well, And then she'll tell me, I don't like this. Then she'll go back, and then I'll find out the next day she just binged watched the entire series, nailed it. I introduced her to that, and then she's like, "Oh, that's great." And then she's like, "You're watching it without me?" I'm like, "All right, I'll wait." I get to work, then I come back the next day. This is during the summer, I think. And she's like, "Oh yeah, no, this episode, this." I'm like, "How many did you watch?" She goes, "Oh, I watched all of them." I go, "You were supposed to wait on me."
Yeah, my 12-year-old did that to me with Sword Art. She's like, I've watched Sword Art 1 and 2. So I finally had to leapfrog her. And I was like, well, have you seen Gun Gale yet? And she's like, I didn't even know there's a thing. I'm like, yeah, what's up now? Who's the man now? I've watched more Sword Art than you have. And yeah, that was a really big crown. I rubbed it in her face. I was like, yeah.
Did you push her down and throw your drink down?
If I had some stairs. No. Yeah. What's up now?
What's up now? Well, another thing my 9-year-old would do lately too is she watches stuff out of order.
Oh,
and
God.
That's part of being a nerd is you have to watch it in order. You need the full story. Avatar and Sailor Moon. She really likes Sailor Moon, and I'm trying to get her in that and Inuyasha. And she's like, "Oh, these are stupid." But I caught her watching Sailor Moon when I had it on for the youngest. But then I introduced her to Avatar, and then I looked, and she was on season 3. She's on book 3 already. And I go, "Oh, really? You got through Earth already? Book 2? She goes, "No." I go, "You got through book 1, Water, then?" "No." I go, "We watched the first 2 episodes." "Yeah." "Then you started watching book 3. "Yeah." "Why? No." And I could feel myself twitching and getting itchy. And I'm like, why are you doing this? No. You have to watch it episode 1, 2, 3, because then you find out the Katara does this, and I started going off on this whole tangent, and I turned around, I'm just talking, going into this. It was a good speech. You would have been proud. It was a good argument.
All right, hell.
And then I turned around, and she was gone. She had walked off.
Just
she's like, "Vanish!" And I'm just sitting here going, I don't know what to do. Where did I fail as a parent, as a nerd parent?
You're I've said this. You're raising a dialogue skipper. She's going to press X to skip dialogue.
Oh, she is. I'm all depressed now. Thanks.
Yeah, that's what you have to deal with.
Yeah, it is. There's no way to get past that one.
We read the dialogue in this house. We don't skip shit. You do the side quests.
We are dialogue readers.
Yes. Don't come back to me when you don't understand what the hell's going on. Because I'm not going to tell you. I'm just tell you reload your save from 4 weeks ago and figure out what the hell happened, because I'm not gonna help you with it.
And then who we kidding? We'll end up helping them with it.
Oh yeah, probably. These kids gonna learn.
So, I think we. I'm just seeing you. Yeah, I'm just picturing you push down your oldest now, throwing a beer down and going, "What now?"
Yeah. Well, everybody, the guy down the street's yelling at his kid for not being able to throw a curveball. I'm like, you skipped the whole plot line, the whole quest line in Fallout New Vegas. What were you doing? No, you have to go back. You gotta find the chip. What are you? No.
Why are you only killing rats?
Yeah. Meanwhile, little Jimmy's like, you're hanging your curveball down the street.
It's little Jimmy's getting hit in the head with a curveball by his dad. He's like, "I'm little Jimmy."
Yeah. Gonna beat into him how to throw a knuckleball. My kids are, yeah.
No.
You're gonna get through this.
So, what we told you before, this is our show. We're just gonna kind of ramble.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be time. We're gonna get totally off subject. We'll eventually come back. Eventually. Maybe.
Eventually. Maybe 2 episodes down the road. we'll get back on track.
So, speaking of back on track, which brings us to our next part is...
Where were we?
I mean, when...
I'm lost now.
It's your section coming up. And I'll introduce it. It's actually... So we went from the culture as being in. Now, it's the cool thing to do.
Yep, got that.
But then we briefly hit on, we had to hide who we were. We had to hide that we liked what we liked. when did it come back for you? Like, how did that come full circle for you?
Okay, so there was a little spark. It didn't come full swing until a few years ago, but there was a little spark in college, which I never was a comic reader. I never was an anime watcher growing up. There's a lot of shows that I was like, I just don't want to watch that. That doesn't grab me, or that's I don't want to be seen as too nerdy watching it. Like, it may have interested me, but I didn't watch it. But I'll never forget, in college, lived in this little basement apartment, and I came home from the bar one night, probably karaoke, because I lived in the bar owner's basement, actually, a little apartment. And I come home.
Wait, you lived in the bar owner's basement?
Yeah, he had a little basement apartment. It was cool. It was like a little studio apartment. It wasn't weird. Don't make it weird.
It wasn't like Dudley and was it Dudley, I think, and Different Strokes then.
No, this was straight up legit. Like, it was a full on.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a sliding glass door, had my own bathroom, and didn't go upstairs. It wasn't too odd. But so I come back, and I remember laying on my couch, and I flip on TV to Cartoon Network, and this is late at night. It was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and Spirited Away was playing, and it was probably
great one.
15-20 minutes into it. And I'm like, what is this shit? That was the first thing that goes through my head. And then I was like, well, I'm too tired or drunk or whatever to change it. And so I just let it play. And before I know it, I've watched the whole movie. And like, this is amazing. And it took me a long time to figure out what movie it was I watched. I didn't have a TV guide. And, access to the internet wasn't super easy. I didn't know who to ask to find out what this show was that I watched. So it took me a while to find it again. And that's when it kicked off. Like, this is a very cool genre. Like, I like this. I want more of this. And so that kicked off, a little spark of interest in watching anime. And then it got a little bit more as I got older, with streaming services and things to easily find cool shows. And I'm starting to find the genre of the type of movies and TV shows that I like. I kind of like the older, grittier type stuff, which I'm glad you recommended to me to finally watch Cowboy Bebop after 20-something years. But I like that style and Akira and things like that. The kind of the older, grittier style is really cool to me, and pass that on, to my kids. So that was a kickoff for me wanting to watch more and get into more anime. The kickoff for me to want to get into more comics and watching, and this goes back to the point that we hit earlier about things being more mainstream, was Walking Dead. And so Walking Dead became popular, and I've always loved zombie movies and everything zombie. I have a whole full collection of Romero movies and stuff. I think I have the full set of everything.
You really?
Now. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so, like, I always like zombies. Like, okay, this show is cool. I really like this. So I was like, oh, it's based on a comic. So now, you can't see it behind me, but I have a ton of Walking Dead comic stuff, and that kicked me off to wanting to read more comics.
Robert Kirkman.
So went from Walking Dead to just have the what do I have up there? Just here close. I have Lock and Key, which you're on me to get the rest of the set for, and just some random one-offs that I've read through Comixology and stuff that. That goes back to the whole Swiss Army knife nerdom, a little bit of everything, but not really deep into all of it or into one thing. And really want to get into some more stuff, and that's another thing that sparked the interest. So it's I kind of get this fear of missing out now as I'm older, because there's all this stuff that I passed up on when I was younger. Like, this is so cool now. This is something I wish I could get into more, and I feel left out of some of the conversations and things that. I don't know the lore and the history of certain stuff, but I want to, and I put that on things becoming a little bit more mainstream and accessible, and kick myself for not getting into it earlier, because I probably would have a lot more years of happiness enjoying this particular interest and hobby.
Isn't that weird to say that you have a fear of missing out for this kind of stuff now?
Yeah.
It's like, that brings us back to our early subject, back in 90s, 80s, 90s, hell, even early 2000s. You wouldn't have said that. You wouldn't have told them, yeah, no, I love this, unless you found some people who were like-minded, who had the exact same interest as you.
Yeah. And they're hard to they were hard to find then. They're easier to find now.
The internet's way more accessible now. We had to do BBSs and IRQ and America Online.
Mm-hmm. Go get the little CDs from the PC Gamer Mag that had the game demos in 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So back when I worked at CompUSA, we opened up the CompUSA here in town, me and my buddy. We would have to put all the magazines out on the shelves, like the demo stuff, but they wouldn't want any of the demo CDs or back then too is when they were doing the floppy disk, the 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
So we would get to keep them all. We had boxes of America Online demo stuff, and we found a web page. I think it was on a bulletin board system. Maybe it was America Online. It was like 101 things to do with America Online discs, and we tried. I think we got to like 100, and maybe like a 99 or 100 things to do. Like one was like filling a crack on your driveway with an America Online discs. Use them as coasters, plaster. I mean, we tried all that stuff, and it was just they handed that literally out like candy. It was just fun to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, everybody had one laying around. They came with, every magazine
Everything.
that you get your hands on. Like, your
PC
grandma
magazine.
was, getting Better Homes and Gardens, and there was a damn AOL trial CD in the thing. What do I do with this? Don't worry about it, Granny. We got stuff to look up.
The early days of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's a good topic too.
Yeah.
That's a real good topic.
Yeah, we'll do an hour and a half on hamsterdance.com. So try me.
Finish it.
That's gonna be stuck in my head now. Son of a bitch, that's stuck in my head now, Chris. Thanks a lot. I won't be able to sing.
And I'm out.
I need to make that my ringtone so I can get. Okay.
Do it. Well, that's kind of most of what we have for today, but now we're going to come to a really, really, what I think is a really fun part of the show. We were trying to think of something fun that we could do every week when we do this. And we came up with, Kyle.
We are going to do a little bit every week. This little bit, like Chris said, it's going to be so much fun. And this is going to involve a little audience participation because a winner will have to be declared every episode after we do this. We are doing the Nerdom. 2 nerds enter.
2 nerds enter, 1 nerd leaves.
Then a little bit later, the other nerd leaves, but he is sad because he lost.
That's the full title because it's brilliant.
That's the full title. It won't fit in a Discord channel, but you get the idea. Like,
we'll just call it Nerdom.
And we wanted to expand on the typical, well, who would win in a fight between, Batman and Wonder Woman, and those have been done. Those have been done so much. They've been done into the ground. I'm not saying stop doing them. Enjoy it. Have fun with it. We're just going to do something better. So,
everyone, it's my birthday. Look at me.
Look at me. Here's the cool thing that we're going to do. So our evil genius Chris here has come up with a randomizer. And what we did is we took a list of characters from pop culture, nerdy pop culture, whatever. And we're throwing those characters into a randomizer. Chris will get one character. I will get one character. We do not know who we are going to get.
Hence the randomizer.
And they're going to do battle. But we're not going to do your typical who's going to kick whose ass battle.
Let's expand on that because, like you said, that's been done. And like when we were talking about this, my guy was who I picked was like Winnie the Pooh. We weren't going to tell each other who we picked all week, so it'd be a surprise, and you'd have to defend that. Who did you pick originally?
You had Winnie the Pooh, and I had Gizmo from Gremlins.
Gremlins. But then we started talking about it. I go, that's been done. Like, because if it came down, let's say you picked like Wonder Woman one week, and I picked Winnie the Pooh, and it was a fist fight. Well, little pantsless, dumpy Winnie the Pooh
would kick Wonder Woman's ass.
Yeah, obviously, with his no pants, because I think you said he'd be on his bare knees.
Oh yeah.
He'd be on his bare knees. Literally, he'd be on his bare knees.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
bare knuckle fight.
Done.
Who's gonna win? The bear.
Wah wah wah. But that's been done, and then so we came up with what's the second part.
So our second part is locations. So we're taking random locations and also some locations from places that you would know from pop culture and nerd culture, and things as simple as a high school cafeteria to Moe's bar. And so we have things that could potentially give each combatant a possible terrain advantage in the scenario that they are going to be participating in.
Third part is a scenario. That is randomized also. The scenario is, what are they doing? It's not, fist fighting's in there.
Fist fighting is in there.
But then there's other things. What else did we put in there? Let me switch to this.
God, like baking a cake. We have package
cake,
delivery, zombie killing, polka dance,
buffalo wrangling,
sword fight with actual swords.
Holophone
with actual swords. Pancake flipping, tug of war, underwater bat. There's so many things in there that they could do. So we are going to put ourselves to the test. And admittedly, all the characters we have like 58 damn characters in here. I'm not going to know them all. I feel confident with about 85% roughly of those. Some of the Dragon Ball guys I may not know well enough to.
I think we only put Goku and Vegeta in there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I'm only like halfway through season 1 because my little guy won't watch the rest of it.
You got a long way to go then, man.
Anime interrupt us. But there's enough there that I think we can make a competent argument on why our character will win. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to leave it up to you guys after listening and or watching to decide the winner. Okay? We'll have a Discord. Well, actually, we do have a Discord already ready and going. We'll have it out there for invite once this show goes live. And you guys will have the opportunity to vote on who won. Either Chris, Boo, or me, yay, who wins the competition. And in the follow-up event, so we're going to do this every week, whoever won will get the advantage of, we're calling it the high ground. And what did we decide we were going to do? Actually give that advantage as? Was it?
We didn't decide. That's the thing.
We will have something.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it needs to be a randomized thing. Like you get a roll of salami for the next battle. Just actually, that would be good too.
So hungry right now. Okay, so yeah.
But just something just random that could or could not give them a disadvantage.
Yeah, so we'll have the high ground randomizer, and
maybe that's what we'll do. Yeah,
we
need to create a category.
Yep, could choose to keep the item from the randomizer or give it to the opponent to use at their detriment. There's a lot of things that could happen from this.
Did you call me your Boo? I think he said Chris Boo. I believe everyone heard that.
What up, Boo? You're always
what up, Boo? Oh, you're my schmoopy.
I can't use those terms without sounding like super twangy. Whatever.
Bobby,
we're gonna go with it.
I'm a little genie beanie. Okay, so I'm gonna share
Chris
my
has developed
here.
This awesome randomizer, the Wheel of Random.
So, okay, can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay, we're gonna hit spin.
So since you made the wheel, you get whoever it lands on first. Oh, you get Leela.
You know what? No. Let's redo this because we didn't decide who was going first.
Oh, I said you go first because you made the wheel.
Oh, you did? Okay, I get
Yep,
Leland. No,
give you.
I want a different one because when we were doing the practice round last night, you made a good argument in this, and that's too fresh right now.
Yeah, it is kind of fresh. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to give you that. You were really sad that you didn't get Leela, though.
Yes!
Son of a bitch!
Hank Hill.
I might as well just forfeit now. You can't.
He sells propane and propane accessories.
Hank Hill is basically Chuck freaking Norris. Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
If I get Bobby, I am forfeiting.
Yeah!
Son of a bitch.
Kyle got
Dr. Zoidberg. I'm at a disadvantage already.
Oh, well, not necessarily. He's a doctor.
Well, hold on. As long as it's nothing medical, I still have a chance. Okay, so
we'll find out.
So for location.
Location is
everything. Moe's Bar.
And
nope, that hurts me. Okay, now for the activity. The scenario.
Activity. Baking a cake.
Oh.
Baking a cake. I think we're both at a disadvantage of this one.
I don't even know how to go with this.
I don't know either because Hank would be like, "Oh, what?"
Zoidberg is just going to eat the damn cake. Like I've got
Zoidberg's
nothing.
going to eat the materials.
He's never even going to get to the freaking oven with it.
No, he's done. Finally, Zoidberg bakes a cake.
Why couldn't I get polka dancing? I probably could have won with Zoidberg and polka dancing.
I don't know. Okay, so you get starting advantage.
Oh, I do? Because you can't think of anything for Hank with baking a cake?
No, I can think of something, but I think you've got the uphill battle with Zoidberg.
Okay, so I think Zoidberg could win on this based off of his medical training. Okay? Follow me on this.
Okay.
He is a terrible doctor, which puts him at the level of a amazing baker. Right?
What?
Yeah. A really shitty doctor is only like 2 degrees of separation from a great baker.
Okay.
And the advantage is going to be Zoidberg doesn't drink often. You don't see Zoidberg drink very often. Okay, Hank is going to be distracted by all the amazing drinks, mostly Duff beer, at Moe's Bar. He's not going to be pay attention to bake a cake. Baking a cake is the opposite of grilling a steak for Hank Hill. He's not even going to want to participate in it. He's not going to want to go near the mixing bowl. You're going to lay that in front of him like, Hank, here's some flour, here's some eggs, here's some sugar. I want you to bake a cake. And he's going to go, oh! No, he's not even going to touch it. So Zoidberg wins by default.
Do you rest your case?
I rest my case. I'm not even going to counter that. I'm not even going to counter your case.
Okay. Hank Hill. Hank Hill is the assistant manager of Strickland Propane, which means he is well disciplined and well versed into the business world and how to do stuff. He is very by the books. He has fun within limits. He follows the rules. For baking, you follow the rules. Baking is not about freeform. Baking is a science. It's not about being the best baker. It's not about being the worst baker. This is just baking a cake. Hank can follow the recipe, but Hank doesn't have to because he sells propane and propane accessories. All he'll do is call either Bill to come do it because Bill is so weak-minded. He'll come do it. He can call Peggy. She'll have spaghetti and cake. She may make a spaghetti and cake. And, he's got the biggest advantage, which is Bobby, which if we remember that one episode, Bobby was reading The Good Housekeeping and became quite the little baker and did all those cool things around the house, even made the Thanksgiving dinner. That's why I think Hank has this clutched over this dumpster living, toenail eating calamari who is a terrible doctor. He ate toenails. You remember that?
Yeah, he ate toenails.
Toenails. And this is why I don't think Zoidberg is the popular one for this category. I think Hank has this clutched.
Zoidberg is the popular one now. Because
Zoidberg is the popular one.
I mean, one, flag on the play. This isn't a tag team match. We can't call in for backup.
But we never said we couldn't.
We never said we could. Okay.
Which is true.
I'm sticking by my shitty doctor, great baker stance.
Which is the greatest argument ever.
That's the hill that I am prepared to die on. Is the
literally
shitty doctor.
on the Hank Hill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like I've got this clutch right now. So, but we're gonna leave that to you guys out there.
Hank Hill versus Dr. Zoidberg.
Cake baking in Moe's bar. Hank's gonna get shit canned. So.
Well, maybe not. The only beer Hank likes is Alamo beer, and the only beer that Moe's serves is Duff.
Yeah, but Hank's not going to turn down a beer just because it's not his beer. He's going to be in the bar. He's going to drink it, and I think he's going to love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to love it.
I don't know. Zoidberg may hear Barney singing in the bathroom and go investigate.
Yeah, but Hank's not going to be able to get away from Homer. So
buy me a beer, snifter of wine. Man, who am I kidding? I drink turpentine.
But that's not up to us to decide.
No, it was. No, it's not.
It's not.
If it was, I would obviously win. I think Kyle disagrees, but you know what?
I disagree. I think I got shafted on this deal because I got Zoidberg right off the bat.
From that,
it could have only been worse if I'd have got freaking Meg from Family Guy.
And she is a character in the random wheel.
She is.
We decided she's our Joker, not like good Joker from DC.
My fighter got pulled up from the damn minor leagues. That's great. Okay. It's fine. Everything's fine. I got faith in Zoidberg, and I got faith in the audience to really see the genius in the doctor/baker theory.
Doctor
lady.
Red Brown, please come on our show.
Mm-hmm.
So this brings us to last couple parts of the show. What are you watching or reading this week?
So my homework assignment from Chris. Okay, so after we had our discussion with Blasted Props that one night, I realized there's some classic anime I need to watch. There's cool new stuff coming out. I need to get back to the classics, and I'm going to dive into a series. And Chris kind of knows my attention span is very short. It's hard for me to keep focused on something. But I asked him, I need something to watch this week so we can talk about it next week. And I asked you, should I be watching Cowboy Bebop or Full Metal was the other one, right?
That was a tough choice.
That was a tough choice. You gave me Cowboy Bebop. I'm so happy because there's only 20-something episodes. I'm already 4 episodes in. And I'm hooked. It fits my current watching style really well because as far as I can tell right now, I haven't finished it. Like I said, I'm about 4 episodes in, but it seems to follow the typical weekly, here's the big bad that Spike's going to fight this week. And there's, I think I could have picked up and started watching on episode 4, episode 3, episode 1, which I'm not advocating you do with anything, but it's very episodic. It's not like super deep Lord canon stuff. I can watch it. I can get through the series. I can enjoy it for what it is, and I'm really enjoying it right now. So I hope to have that finished by our next show, so maybe I can discuss a few things about that.
What characters have you met so far?
I have met, of course, Spike. Then, let's see, who did he fight? I'm trying to think back to the first one. So
you've met Jet, his partner, then?
Met Jet. I've watched through the episode after they got the data dog.
Okay, so you met Ein.
Datadog was the next to last episode. This last one, they fought. What did they call her? She was the cheating car dealer.
Yes, the Red Eye episode.
Yep, that was the Red Eye. No, it was after the Red Eye. Red Eye was the first episode.
That's right. It was. What was her name? I know who you're talking about. Oh,
Yeah,
Faye.
so- Yeah, Faye. So that was the
You meant Faye.
Faye Valentine? No,
Faye Valentine. Yep.
Faye Valentine. So that was the last episode that I watched when she scuttled off into space with something. She got away. Well, she was the bounty. She was, a like 5 million Wuhan bounty or whatever it was. Is that what it is? Is that the currency? Not
I
Wuhan.
believe it is. Yeah.
Something similar. And so that's as far as I've made it. So I got about 20-ish episodes left to go.
Okay. It only goes uphill from there. It's Cowboy Bebop by Studio Sunrise, which they have produced some classics, and Yoko Kano, I believe it's Kano or Kano, one of the all-time greatest composers of our time, especially for anime.
I'm loving the music. I'm loving the intro. Which the intro, I'm a sucker for another show that I haven't finished is Archer, and just seeing the intro to Cowboy Bebop comparing to the intro of Archer and that whole panel style, which goes back to a bunch of old westerns and like spaghetti westerns and things like that. I love that. I'm loving the music. I'm loving the flow of it. So I'm sucked in.
So it's great. Well, we will definitely discuss that more. Cowboy Bebop will be its own episode too,
Okay.
just because it's so great, and it's got a movie knocking on heaven's door. So we'll discuss that too.
Okay.
What I have watched this week or reading, I was going to go with ReZero Starting Life in Another World, which is one of my all-time favorites. But then Sunday, the new Attack on Titan season 4 came out. Not season 4, but they're into it, and it's been kind of slow. It's been telling a lot of backstory without giving away any spoilers. But then the last 2 minutes of the episode just really kicked it into high gear, and it's one of those where you just start yelling at the TV, like, "No, it's the good part." That's
so
where it
ready for
was. So, and then, okay, tell everyone why you haven't watched it yet. What your thing is with anime.
that. I am going to get called out and raked over the coals and everything on this, but I haven't watched it because the dub has not come out yet. And
Which is okay.
it's
I mean,
the tone of your
it's
voice when you
fine.
say it's okay.
It's fine. I mean, the Japanese voices are much better, but okay.
It's fine. Because I originally started watching the dub version of it, and it's going to be it would be a big shock for me to pick up different voices. And typically I do watch the dub. I'm watching things with subtitles anyways because I'm like half deaf. But if I can't like totally focus on it, then at least I got the dub going where I don't have to focus on reading. I can kind of hear what's going on. But that's kind of one of my things for this year is to get into more sub and watching some more that way so I can hear the original voices, like how they're meant to be heard and things. So I'm going to try to dip my toe into that, and we'll see how that goes.
And I'll give you 2 prime examples of why you should watch it like the Japanese. Like in One Piece, Frankie, when he goes super, it just sounds so much better. And then Brooks, the skeleton, he has this really high laugh. I can't do it very well. He goes, that was awful and terrible, and that makes you not want to watch it, but it's so much better in the anime. But it's there's merits to watching the English version. Then you don't have to concentrate on watching the subtitles to see what's going on versus to actually admiring the art. And I told Kyle that they announced that season 4 is starting on Toonami on Cartoon Network this Saturday, along with SSSS Gridman. So, which that's a really good one. That's kind of like a Power Rangers, or I forget. There's another show on that was like that. I want to say Matthew Lawrence was on it. I'll remember it for next episode. I might as well stop the share there. And then what this last thing that we're always going to end the show with was something I learned this week.
Okay. What have you learned?
What did you learn? What have I learned this week?
What have you learned this week?
I have learned, and this can be anything. This doesn't have to be about nerd culture. This doesn't have to be about anything. Something that I've learned this week is that your average person does not know what the First Amendment is. That is what I have learned from this week. Like I said, this doesn't have to be a nerd thing. Well, I guess it could be if, law and the Constitution's your thing. Mm-hmm. What have you learned this week?
What I've learned this week is not really necessarily something I learned, just an experience I had, because this week we really kicked into high gear on bringing you into the fold of getting back into PC gaming. Mm-hmm. And just seeing, we had we've talked about him a few times this episode. My buddy Blasted Props is when we had a video chat together, and he's not immediately going to take you in and talk to you, but you guys broke the ice like in the first 30 seconds.
Oh, really?
And
he's super easy to talk to.
Oh yeah. Once you hit that point, like, he's going to talk to you. Once you find something to click with, it's great. And you guys hit it off. And seeing my old friend connecting with my new friend, and these new friends that, I've never met in real life. They live in different parts of the country, and some of them not even, here stateside. And seeing them accept, Chris, as they know as Guyver, into the fold, and talking about our nerdy hobbies, like, when are we going to play together? Do you want to play this with us? It's like you're kids again, and you meet the new kid on the playground, and you're like, hey, come over here and play dodgeball as. And it's not for us to like throw dodgeballs at Chris. It's to let him come in, and maybe somewhat, but to let him in, like, hey, we're playing this. We've got slots open. Come play with us. Come have fun. You're one of us, especially now that you got
one of us.
Thank God you finally got that done.
Thank you.
And, it's just, learning how accepting people can be, and how that can have a positive effect on people. Because I've seen how happy you've been this week. You're just absolutely eating it up and loving it. And I feel like 100%. My friends are happy to have you around, and it was great to see that.
Well, I appreciate it. It's that you have built this really cool little circle online, and they have been extremely accepting, because it's like, I think it was Harry. I heard him go, I hear a Guyver, in that very Harry voice.
Yeah.
I hear a Guyver. It's like, it's a me.
It's a me, Guyver.
It's a me, Guyver. But it was a blast. Even if I was level 1 while you guys are like level 15 hunting wolves, and I am 5 kilometers away and could never catch up, and my guy's heart meter like exploded. Mm-hmm. And I shot a wolf twice and nothing happened, and then I died. And
yeah, well, you had to die. That's the level of nerd hazing that you have to go through.
It really is. And then I kept walking into the water.
Episode nerd hazing. I'm putting that on the list.
Nazing.
Nazing.
Hey fellas, I'm back. Well, with that, normally we would end this with telling you what next week's episode is, but frankly, we haven't gotten that far.
We don't have a damn clue.
We'll figure it out this week, and we'll come up with some talking points.
Yeah, pop in the Discord. We're open to suggestions. So, like I said, when this goes live, so will the Discord, and we'll have links and descriptions and things where you guys can join. Just read the rules and the regs and agree to them, and be welcomed into the fold.
Please be our friends. Please listen to us. Please.
We love you.
We do.
We love you all. We do.
We love you so much. Mm-hmm. Now that we've thoroughly creeped you out,
let us love you. I'm gonna work on my.
What was that Saturday Night Live skit? That Hurley he boy. Please let me sleep at the foot of your bed.
That's all.
Please let me be your dog. Yeah.
Just curl up, get comfy, and sleep at the foot of our podcast.
For the love of God, listen to their podcast. All right. Well, with
thank
that,
you guys for listening. If you made it this far,
you made
more
it this
power
far.
to you. Godspeed.
I'm Chris,
I'm Kyle.
Rise up.
and this has been our podcast.
It could
Thank
get
you, guys.
elevated. Nerdcore could rise up.